Hello, everyone. I want to welcome you to the 2019 Vietnam Mission Team from Awakening Lives to World Missions. I'm excited that you've registered and are looking forward to joining us this summer. I want to take a few minutes today to share with you how to use the Managed Missions web portal. It's the same place where you filled out your application, and we'll be using that going forward as the place to keep track of tasks and responsibilities and uh, the training and so forth. So let me take us over there, share my screen, and we'll make a quick change. And let's go. So you're familiar with the Managed Missions portal because this is the place where you filled out your application. I'm going to log in today using Sally's account to show you how to use this going forward. So when I log in, I see different things as administrator. So you simply log back into where you filled out your application, and the first thing that's going to come up is the mission trip that you've been assigned to. You select the little icon on the left, and that takes you to your dashboard. Let me just point out a couple of things that are going to be critical in your dashboard. One, your individual fundraising you'll be able to keep track of here. Right now there's mostly deposits in for a few folks, and the key things I want to show you are twofold. One, view calendar. The view calendar option shows you in calendar format deadlines and responsibilities come in logged in on their due date. So you'll see, for example, that since February 15th is the registration deadline, that those things are logged in here. All of you are registered, and I think most cases have paid your deposits. So all of that information is right here. Something we'll look at in a moment is called beginning your fundraising and creating your public profile. And then going forward, our team training will start in March. And you'll see that in calendar view, we're suggesting that you complete one assignment per week. They usually take about a half hour apiece, so they're not long, maybe a little longer than that, with a due date being each of those Fridays. You can do them faster than that if you so choose. If you go slower than that, what will happen is any given week, the following Wednesday, you'll get an auto reminder email saying you haven't completed that week's assignment. So you've got the calendar view, which is helpful for when finances are due and assignments and so forth. That's found here under View Calendar. The place that you're going to get most familiar with is this Meetings, Tasks, and Goals section. Again, those are listed alphabetically, or I say rather further for their calendar due date. And let me take you to the first one, and you'll see how these work. When you click on a particular task or goal like this, it'll take you to more detail. Well, it takes you to the list where you can actually access everything. So again, we want to see this one here, due 2/20, which is 2 weeks from today, what we're calling fundraising and create your public profile. So when you click on that task, everything you need, both the description of what we're asking you to do, the due date, and any supporting documents that you need to read, PDF files, anything you might need in order to complete that task is listed there for you. The first step is what we're calling create your public profile again and work on your fundraising. So there's a PDF on how to create your public profile. I'm going to show you one and walk you through the process right now, but there's also printed instructions right here. There's a document, a PDF file for support raising for your short-term mission trip. And it's got some suggestions on how to raise funds. Some of you may be going into this preparing to pay for your trip on your own. And if you can afford that, that's fine. I still urge you to invite others to participate, if not financially, by inviting them to pray for you and commit to praying for you. I know people over the years who've written to people and said, we don't need financial support, but would you pray for us? Who've still had people come and say, but we'd like to invest in your trip anyway. Is there some way we can donate a little bit? The point is, here's a document explaining how to do support raising with some ideas. Many raise out or mail out support letters. Again, if that's looking for prayer support or prayer and financial support, we've included here a sample letter, which gives you some of the core of what you can include. And then, of course, you would personalize that. There's a payment overview schedule that is listed here, and support coupons. There are 2 PDF files printed back to back that produce 3 per page. If you're going to mail a letter out, I strongly encourage you to include the support coupons. If someone mails a check and forgets to add a note, doesn't use support coupons, and gives us no information whatsoever, we won't know what to post that check to, and the bookkeeper will put it in the general fund. It is an option for a person to write your name into the memo portion of the check, but be aware that in view of the IRS, if that person is audited, that check, which has your name in the memo portion, isn't tax deductible, and it's because of IRS guidelines. So we strongly urge donors to not use your name in the memo portion just in case, but to use either these support coupons that we've provided or some other means to let us know where it goes without physically writing anything on the check. So everything you need to complete that first task, or for any future task, if there's attachments, documents, assignments, readings, instructions, that will always be right here under the task. Now, the public profile is what I want to introduce you to. The instructions are here, so I'm simply going to show you what a public profile looks like and why they're so important and helpful to you going forward. To find the public profile, on the left-hand side, you select Team Member. Now, I'm going to take us first to Manage Public Profiles because I want to show you what one completed looks like. I created a public profile. I'm not raising funds for the trip, but I've created a public profile so you can see what one looks like. When you've created a public profile, it creates a unique URL or web address, which will take people to a specific page that has your picture, something customized for you about your trip. There's a core that's central that simply is an overview of the trip, and then we urge you to personalize that. There's more about that in the instructions. There's something about this ministry in case people go, who are they going with and who you're serving with, is information there. There's a link to our website, but the most important one is right here. When you share this URL with someone, they are able to then donate directly for your trip. When they click on this donation button, it'll take them through a process of donating funds that will specifically post to your fund. So it's a very simple way for you to share via email or Instagram or Twitter or Facebook this URL and what you're doing, and people can then donate very simply. Be aware that with all web transactions, like with PayPal, we use Stripe, which is one of the major web processors of payments, and there's a small Stripe fee that will come out of any donation made or any payment you might make toward your trip. So if you're making a payment toward your trip, we urge you to mail a check in, or if you use this to add in the fee so that the net toward your trip actually is what you intend it to be. But for donors, it's a very simple way to go. And let me show you how to create yours. This is what one looks like. And let's go back. And so when you select team members, it's going to bring you here. There are 3 additional team members from South Dakota whose names aren't listed here. But I'll show you Sally's, because hers isn't created, Rick. So you click on your name, and you'll see your own profiles, get your information, most of which went in there when you created your application. But over on the right is what's called Edit Public Profile. And you'll select that. Again, these are in the instructions as well. And you'll come to where you create what is the public profile for Sally Moberly. Now note what it says. This profile hasn't been published. A public profile is a unique web address you can give to supporters to learn about your trip. And you'll be instructed to simply do this. Well, first, you enable your public profile, and then it creates this unique URL. The first part is all common for all of our teams for this trip, and it'll follow the same format. It'll simply be like mine was William Moberly 1, yours will be Karen Dorfmeyer 1, or Emma Cassidy 1, etc. And that whole web address together is what people will use to get to what you're about to create. There's a generic crypt description that is already posted here that we've put together, and then you customize it by adding additional detail. That's unique to you. It may be your excitement about going to Vietnam because you've always wanted to go there. It may be your excitement about serving because serving on short-term mission trips gives you great joy. It may be that you've got a long-term relationship with Vital Links and you're excited to be going. You can customize it any way you want. In the instructions that I've posted for you, there's some suggestions on what previously people have done to customize that. But you personalize this trip description, upload a photo, and then you submit it for approval. That simply sends it to me where I'll just double check it for you, and then I hit publish, and it goes live. And the time between which you submit for approval and it goes live is relatively short because right now I'm stateside and very accessible, and I get notified right away when there's action here. The point is, once you go through that process, you'll create the very thing that you saw for me, and you'll have that web address, and we're asking you to complete that task by February 20th, and it will be a great benefit for you going forward, and also to begin on that fundraising, because you'll see in the tasks and goals, starting later this month, we're going to begin to look for airline tickets. Once we buy airline tickets and put them on ministry credit cards toward the end of this month, then by early part of April, we're going to need payment toward those tickets. And if you intend to pay yourself, then you pay by the payment deadline. If you're intending to raise support, if you're making progress toward that, for example, we're looking for about $1,000 or at least $500 or $600 to be in, or $700 to be in by that point. If you're at that place, then we're in good shape. If you're making progress, we're good. The point is that we're going to need funds to be coming in. And so if you're support raising, you need to get going right away. So again, here's the portal. Most often you're going to use these tasks and goals, and you'll be able to keep track of what you need to do to be ready for your trip. God bless you as you prepare. Praying for you, and as we have more details, we'll be posting them here about the specific itinerary and structure. We've shared the general itinerary that looks real to us at this point, but as more details become available over these next couple months, we'll be sharing with you. Most of all, we're praying for you and ask you to pray for us that God will use this team this summer. And if you're interested in the Cambodia add-on that was in the flyer, June 13th, we're going to depart for Cambodia. I know at least one team member has indicated they want to go. We're hoping a couple more will go. We're going to be visiting some of the churches in Cambodia that we work with, doing some reading glass outreach and some other ministry in a number of the churches over the 5 days ahead of rendezvousing with the rest of you on the team in Vietnam. So if you've got interest in that, if you have any difficulty with the portal, or if you need assistance of any kind, don't hesitate to email me or give me a call. And we will see you soon. Once I set the date for that meeting, again, you'll see that here sometime in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Till then, God bless you, and we'll see you soon.